Welcome to this Barisco tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to have a look at interfaces in Barisco. Interfaces are the environment around your edition or pages, such as the background, navigations button, or a menu with share buttons. Interfaces generally appear in the form of a bar or sometimes several bars that contains buttons to do something, such as sharing, navigating, or an overlay with a disclaimer. Interfaces can be edited in the same way as you edit pages. The big difference is that interfaces need to be opened from the library instead of the page overview. In the first part of this tutorial, we're going to look at an existing interface to see how this looks like and what type of objects are present. Then in the parts following, we're going to create a custom-made interface. After creating your Barisco account, there will be two default interfaces that have been added to your library. The first interface is for the web viewer and the second interface is for tablet devices. As you can see, I'm now at the Library tab in Barisco. The default interfaces are in the root folder of your library. You can recognize interfaces in your library by the icon with the red, blue and green bars. To open an interface, you need to double click on the interface. The interface will then open in the editor. The two most important objects in an interface are the container and the viewport. The viewport is the area through which pages will be displayed. The container determines the position of the viewport. The container can be used to position objects that you want to move along with the viewport. For example, if you want your viewport to have a shadow, which will always maintain the same position and size as the viewport, you can place a rectangle behind the viewport and add a shadow to the rectangle. On the left and on the right of the interface there are the next and previous buttons. And on the bottom we have the navigation bar. Let's have a look at the interface in the edition preview so that we can see the interactivity from the interface. To do this, I will go to the editions overview and then click on Preview Browser. The preview will now load, and once it is loaded, it will display the edition together with the interface. You can see that the viewport doesn't really appear as we had seen it in the editor, but instead the pages are being shown in its place. On the right we can see the navigation button for going to the next page, but the button on the left is not there. This is because we are currently at the first page, and the first page doesn't really have any previous pages. Now if we go to the next page, you can see that the navigation button on the left appears. At the bottom we can see the navigation bar. The navigation bar is actually a group which contains all kinds of objects with their own interactions that will make up the navigation bar. On the left we have the menu that has all kinds of buttons, such as share, tell a friend and subscribe. In the center we have the contents or page thumbs button. This will display a list of pages within the edition. On both sides of the content button there are two arrows which also navigate to the previous and next pages of the edition. Below the contents button you will find the current page number and the total page number. Then on the right we have the mute button. This can be used to mute the background music of the edition in case any background music has been configured. And then we have some links to social media channels on the left. This concludes the first part of this tutorial. Let's move on to the next part of this tutorial, where we will be building our own custom interface.